1, 2, 3, 4.
And hello out there, all you stay tuners. How is everybody doing? Not doing too bad myself. We're getting ready for the first big winter storm of the year up here in Pennsylvania. Forget what they're calling it. Winter Storm Harvey or something like that. I don't know. We're supposed to get 10 to 12 inches of snow and a little bit of ice on Sunday. Right now it's Thursday, we're recording. We're supposed to get a dusting, I believe, tonight. I'm not sure if it's the same storm. I don't think it's the same storm. But enough with the forecast and the snow. This ain't no weather show. We talk about sports and things and stuff. But before we get into the show, why don't you head over to Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Jimbo ST Sports. And you can follow the show as well at ST Sports Podcast. So with those out of the way, got a couple stories to talk about. Obviously, my Philadelphia Eagles have lost in the divisional round. I'm going to touch on that. Plus, kind of a nice story with Alshon Jeffries and some second graders that happened after the drop he had. And before I get into that, I was gonna say something about it, but I'll save it for the segment. But we're also gonna talk a little bit about Donald Trump and the White House with the Clemson Tigers, the type of food they ate to celebrate the national championship. Then to finish the show, I'll do my weekly picks for the championship weekend, the AFC championship and the NFC championship. So, like I said, with the Donald Trump White House thing, obviously you guys know I try not to get political on the show or anything, and this has nothing to do with politics. But Donald Trump invited the Clemson Tigers this past Monday to quote dinner at the White House to celebrate the championship win over Alabama. And a lot of celebrities, a lot of people are I guess bashing Trump in a way for serving Wendy's and Burger King. There was some pizza there, and you know what? I think it was pretty cool. With the government shutdown, Trump supposedly paid for it out of his pocket. Whether he did or he didn't, who knows? But it's something different, at least. This is the second time in, I think they said, 3 years that Clemson has came to the White House with Trump being the president. And the last time that they came, Trump did a barbecue, which, again, at least he's doing something different. And, talking to some of the guys at work about this, I thought it was kind of funny, serving fast food and things like that. And the one guy I work with made a point. A lot of these kids are 18, 19 years old. They love fast food. And the thing too is you gotta figure these kids have been practicing and training and playing as far as the regular season and the playoffs go for a good part of probably 6 to 9 months. So to have one cheat night, if you want to call it that, dig in. The Clemson quarterback, Lawrence, he's a freshman, so he's got to be at most 19 years old. you know damn well he's loving, the Wendy's chicken sandwich or the Big Macs that were there, and for these celebrities, like I saw Michael Strahan was one, offered to have them come over to his house or have like a nice buffet. Go to them. Hey, these kids when they showed up, a lot of them were hooping and hollering about being so happy that, hey, this is pretty cool. Nice spread and stuff like that. So what? Whatever your political view is towards Trump, it wasn't about Trump or the White House. It was about these kids who, won a championship, beat one of the best teams in the nation, if not one of the greatest teams ever. So if they want ice cream, so be it. They should get whatever they wanted, whether Trump asked them or not. I don't believe they did. I think Trump just did it. So kind of back off. This was about the kids, not about your feeling about Trump and how he runs the nation. Now, one person that's trying to get his, and I'm not sure if you guys have been following this, but Kyler Murray from Oklahoma. It's been going on for about, probably about a month now. So the Oakland A's owned his baseball rights. He was selected, I think they said 9th overall this past MLB draft. Then Oklahoma made the playoffs. Outstanding season he had. And now he's kind of playing, no pun intended, hardball with the A's. He's trying to get a major league contract right now. Now, the contract that he already signed with the A's included a $4.6 million signing bonus. The rumor out there that he's looking for a $15 million signing bonus. And on this past Monday, he declared for the NFL draft. Now, this could be an interesting face-off between the A's and Murray. Just because with the NFL draft and teams, whoever drafts Murray only gets his rights for 1 year. And I believe baseball is the same way, because me as an Orioles fan, I think it was 2 years ago, we actually lost our rights to one of our players because we just couldn't sign him to a contract after a year. The knock on him for football is he's too short. He's 5'10". But Drew Brees, I think, is 5'11" or 6 foot. So I mean, he's a little short, and look at the career he had. It's all about, to me, it's all about how you could overcome that little setback or whatever you want to call it. Now, even though he declared for the draft on Monday, he has 72 hours, which would be, I believe, today, Thursday, to withdraw from entering the draft. Now, even though he entered a draft and he's been selected by the A's, he still could play baseball and or football. The only problem that is gonna come up between this situation is February. I think it's like middle of February. The A's, Oakland A players have to show up for spring training, and then in April 25th is the draft. Now, Mel Kiper, who's the ESPN draft guru, which I find funny because he pretty much gets half the draft picks right, projected him as a first-round pick. Kiper says, and I saw this on ESPN.com, he's unbelievably athletic and one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks I've ever seen. He can make every throw, and he does it with timing, touch, and poise. He could be a really good NFL quarterback. Kiper also went on to say that if he was 3 inches taller, he would be the number 1 overall pick. And if he does get drafted, he'll be the shortest quarterback to play in the NFL since Doug Flutie. Which again, I mean, Doug Flutie didn't do that bad. I mean, he was no Hall of Fame quarterback or anything like that, but he still had a decent career. You know, he played with the Bills, and I think it was like one or two other teams he played with, but mostly the Bills is where he made his little comeback, his name, or whatever you want to call it. But to show you the kind of season Murray had at Oklahoma, he threw for over 4,000 yards, 42 touchdowns, ran for another 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. Now, again, college is totally different than NFL. I know they say NFL is a lot faster, so you won't see I don't think you'll see the rushing yards as much like that because the linebackers are a lot quicker and a lot smarter. So, like the RPOs and the options and everything like that, you're not going to be able to pull them off as much. But with what we saw with the Saints against the Eagles, with the Saints' backup quarterback, I believe his name was Hill. If you run a wildcat with a quarterback, it was effective. And the comment that they made during that game was, most of the time with the wildcat, you have a running back or a wide receiver running the ball or running the play. Their first reaction is just do what the play says. If it says handoff, handoff. If it says run out right, run out right. With the quarterback running it, he was able to read the defense and say, okay, you know, handing it off won't work here. Let me roll out and I'll pass it. And to be honest, I mean, that's what was really holding Philly back from getting off the field a couple times. So if that were the case with Murray, that 4,000 yards passing, 42 touchdowns will definitely come back for him and help him out in the NFL. Now, will he get the $15 million that he supposedly wants? Who knows? And I found this interesting with this ESPN article. They asked Deion Sanders what he thinks Murray should do. And before I even read the quote, I was like, well, he's going to obviously say, you know, play football, you'll make a lot more money there, or be a lot more famous. Or he actually said for Murray to pick up the bat and don't look back. And you know what? It's a safer game to play. Less head injuries. Probably less injuries, period. Murray being an outfielder. And he'll make a lot more money over time compared to the NFL. In the NFL, you're only looking at playing maybe 8-9 years on average. In baseball, I mean, Jesus, Bartolo Colon is still playing. He's going on, 20, probably close to 30 years playing. So, I mean, baseball is definitely the safer sport. In the end, I think Murray's gonna pick baseball. I hope he has the right people behind him telling him what he needs to hear and not what they want to tell him so they could feed off of him. But I hope he plays baseball. Just because I have to say, if he does go to the NFL, I think he's going to be a huge bust. and just because of the shortness, being 5'10", I think that's too much to overcome. And if he's a big bust in the NFL, then the A's would have all the momentum, or whatever you want to say, to play hardball back at him. So, we will see how that all plays out. I would assume by next month, because he would have to show up for spring training, and then April 25th with the draft to see who drafts him. Who knows? Maybe the Patriots will draft him. So, like I touched on in the beginning of the show when I was telling you guys, some of the topics that we're going to go over. Just kind of a feel-good story in a way. Alshon Jeffery's, I'm sure everybody knows by now, who catches pretty much everything thrown his way, even the acrobatic type catches, very rarely drops them. And so Philadelphia was down 20-14. There was like 2-3 minutes left in the game, and Nick Foles was driving down the field. I think they got to about the 45-50 yard line. Third down, throws a ball a little bit behind them, but a ball that Jeffery caught 10 out of 10 times. And this one time, he just happened to bounce it off his hand and right into the hands of Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints. Intercepted it. Pretty much ended the game. And he was very, very tough on himself. One of the quotes he said at the locker room was, this loss was on him. He let his team down. He let his city down. And he's definitely going to come back next year stronger than ever. Now, I felt bad for him. I mean, this guy last year played through the Super Bowl with a torn rotator cuff, I think it was. Supposedly this past playoffs, he's been playing with broken ribs. So, always shows up. Very rare. He actually never complained, even when his targets went down with Golden Tate coming in and Zach Ertz getting more targets, and just kept plugging away. And I've always liked Jeffrey. When we signed him, I didn't think we would be able to sign him, but we got him. And I felt bad for him, and I was praying there was no Eagle fans out there that would pull a Chicago Bears fan when it came to Cody Parkey and bashing him and how much are we paying him and blah, 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 blah. And I'm so happy, and, my respect to all the Eagles fans for not bashing the guy. I mean, he showed up. And there was one Eagles fan who really stood out and acted like this, consoling him in a way. It was a second grader from Westchester School, and wrote him a letter. Here's a little piece of the letter. It says, "It's okay to lose a game. You don't always have to win a game. We couldn't have won the Super Bowl without you last year. I think you're an awesome player no matter what." And, I saw that, I think it was the next day. I think it was that Monday that came out and it actually went viral. So Jeffrey ended up showing up to her school, to meet her and the other second graders, her friends. And it was kind of cool how it all went down. Her second grade class was told that they would try to connect with Jeffrey via FaceTime before someone actually walked into the classroom and said, "I don't think that FaceTime works. Do you just want to talk to him in person?" And the whole class, when Jeffrey walked in, went dead silence. I watched the video. I'll try to find the video again, and I'll post it up on the show's Twitter page. And once they realized who it was, you heard the one kid scream out, "Can you sign my T-shirt?" It was really cute. You know, all the kids wanted high fives and everything like that. But I'll tell you what, you know, I know us Eagles fans get bashed a lot about our past and stuff like that. But if the players show up and hardcore, you know, working hardcore and everything like that, like Jason Kelce with his speech last year, he could go to any bar in Philadelphia. He's never going to have to buy a beer. Alshon Jeffery, he could go to any McDonald's or bar or anywhere. He'll never have to buy a thing. Nick Foles, which I'm going to get into that next topic also. He won't have to buy a damn thing in Philadelphia. He helped bring us a Super Bowl. You know, but it was really cute reading about this second grader. You know, writing this nice little letter to Jeffrey, who was very, very upset about how everything went down. Now, like I just kind of leadwayed into it about Nick Foles. So with the Eagles season being over, Nick Foles, we don't know what's going to happen to him. Thing is, Philadelphia has a $20 million player option on him. But if Foles wants to get out of it and be a free agent, he has to pay back a $2 million signing bonus, which I believe was from this past summer as a part of the extension. Now, there's a couple of different routes this could go. So, like I said, Philadelphia could pick up the $20 million option, and Foles could say, okay, I'll stick around. That's one option. That option I don't think is going to happen. Another one is, and I don't know how this would work. Well, I guess how it would work would be, we would say we pick him up. He would say, I'll give you the $2 million back, and then we would franchise tag him, and then try to trade him. Or C, just let him walk. Obviously, there's a lot of teams out there that need a starting quarterback. You got the Jaguars. The Giants was a small rumor I heard. Denver Broncos are looking for a quarterback. Carolina possibly, because Cam Newton is actually still hurt, and the owner made the comment that he may rest him the whole year. It might be another Andrew Luck type situation. Now, all of this wouldn't have happened if Wentz didn't have that back injury against the Cowboys, or after the Cowboys game when they found out about the stress fracture in his back. But I will give Foles credit, and this is why he'll never have to buy anything in Philadelphia. The way he's handled this whole situation, you know, every week he had to answer questions about, you know, how do you feel about, you know, possibly being the Eagles quarterback, or are you taking Carson Wentz's job over, or is Carson Wentz going to get traded in the offseason? This whole quarterback controversy. Me personally, I think Wentz is still the future. I still think he could prove that he's not injury prone. He's shown he could play. For the people that said, he had a bad year, look at his stats. They're somewhat close to last year. It's just that the offense as a whole wasn't clicking. I hope Foles moves on to a different team. If he does, I think that's going to help Wentz relieve some of the pressure, even though he made the comment, and I didn't really think about this during this whole controversy, that if Foles does move on to a different team, it's even more pressure on Wentz, because he's got to prove that he's not injury prone and he can win playoff games and a Super Bowl, because Foles in the playoffs has been unstoppable, except for the Saints. Now, the first couple games of the season this year, Foles was a little rusty, or wasn't the greatest. He did say, and I didn't know Foles was 30. I thought maybe he was like 28, so I thought maybe he would have another 5-6 years of playing. But if I was Foles, I would sign like a 3 or 4 year contract, ride it out, and call that a career. Because really, he hasn't had that much tread on him. Past 2 seasons with Philadelphia alone, he only played the last 3 games of last year, so he played about 6 last year. He only played 1 full season in 2 seasons. And then with the Rams, he got murdered out there. That was just a bad situation for him, and I actually felt bad for him. I didn't want to trade him when we got Bradford. I was actually pretty pissed off. But he did admit that he's re-energized with coming back to the Eagles. He doesn't want to give up playing, and really hasn't thought about his next move. He was even quoted saying that after the game, he wasn't even thinking about what he wanted to do in the future. He was just so hungry he wanted to go eat. So I think in the next probably month, because I think February is when they start talking about franchise tags and stuff like that. And then March is the new league year. So within the next month, I would say you would have a decision on Foles. But Doug Peterson came out. He said that Carson Wentz is our quarterback and will be our quarterback. My only concern now is if you do let Foles walk, do you have the trust in Nate Sudfeld to be the backup? And even though I said I think Wentz is the future still, can he stay healthy? That's going to be the question for the next couple of years, and Wentz knows that. Do you draft a late round quarterback that maybe could fill in, who might be a better player than Sudfeld? I mean, the few games that we saw Sudfeld do wasn't bad. Definitely was no Foles, but so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Foles. It's gonna be an interesting off season for the Eagles. I looked at some of their free agents coming up. There was like 10 or 12 free agents, but honestly, there was only like 2 or 3 that I think we should resign. I think we should resign Jordan Hicks, as long as it's the right contract. He's another one. He's a very good player, just very injury prone. Jake Elliott is a free agent, without a doubt. We gotta sign him. I forget there was a third one about resigning, but I can't remember offhand right now who it was. So I think I bored you guys enough with the Eagles talk. We got the championship weekend coming up on Sunday, January 20th. We got the Rams versus the Saints at 3:05, and the Patriots against the Chiefs at 6:40. So I will give this a go one more time, because I think last week out of the 4 games, I went 3 for 4. The Patriots, I think, I went 2 for 3 because I didn't pick the Saints game. I didn't want to pick one or the other, but I did get that call right, because I did say it was going to be a closer game and a totally different game than the first time around. But so the Rams versus Saints will be at 3:05. That'll be on Fox. New Orleans is the favorite by 3.5. See, my heart wants to pick the Saints because I like Drew Brees. You know, he seems like a pretty cool guy, stand-up guy. Just celebrated his 40th birthday, acted like he was like 25 out there on the dance floor. But I like the Rams' offense when they're clicking. I think the Saints could pull it out. If Drew Brees could get Michael Thomas going, it's not going to matter about Marcus Peters or Donaldson or any of those big name guys. So I'm going to go with the Saints with a high score game. I'm going to say a 30-24 Saints win, moving on to the Super Bowl. And then at 6:40, we have the Patriots against the Chiefs. Now this pick is going to be, the Chiefs are a 3-point favorite. This pick is going to be my heart and my gut type feeling. My heart wants to pick the Chiefs because I've always loved Andy Reid. I know I said a couple times on the show that I understood it was time for him to go. So, and I think the Chiefs, and this is going to be my gut part of the pick, I think the Chiefs just are going to score on the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots defense is that good. And with Mahomes playing how he is, I think they're going to put up some serious points on the Patriots. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I'm going to say a 35-27 with the Chiefs moving on to Super Bowl, playing the New Orleans Saints February 6th, somewhere around there. So that will be my picks. And I think that's going to probably do it for us this week. Thank you guys for signing back in and tuning in and listening to us. Before I go, you can follow me on Twitter at Jimbo ST Sports. And then you can follow the show as well as ST Sports Podcasts. There is a UFC fight on ESPN Plus this weekend. It's actually a pretty decent card. I'm going to try to get home to watch it. If I do get a chance, I may live tweet. So you guys might have to tune in and have some fan interaction with me if you guys would like. So with that all being said, this is your good friend Jimbo signing out.